Oh, we struggle in all aspects of school.
Yeah.
We had PE down. That's about it.
And lunch.
PE and
I was ready to lunch.
That has stayed true to form.
Sean Watson, another step back, which I will say a lot of his problem that O-line. 8 sacks.
Yeah.
8 sacks. That's good.
He's going to be back like when Big came back to the league after the dog hit it.
Yes.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
Make sure, first off, we'll just do the house cleaning stuff. No Woody here tonight. We're missing him, but he will be back soon. But make sure you follow us on all the social media pages. Facebook, X, we got TikTok, that's Kick, YouTube.
Right now we're kind of focusing pretty strongly on our TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting close to hitting some thresholds that get us kind of to where we are wanting to be with that platform. So check us out. We've been going live pretty consistently, 2 or 3 times a week. On the weekends, we usually do the Sunday kind of a game score thing. Check us out there. We're kind of getting excited about that platform.
Yeah, that you've been hitting it hard over there.
Hopefully it doesn't get banned.
Yeah,
There's a hearing for that in about 3 weeks.
Oh, the actual website. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Because I was like, what are you talking? I was like,
No.
we were banned for a week for something. And then,
No, the actual TikTok is.
yes, we're hoping not, because we've been making some good headway on that. But we also got banned for a week. But TikTok is kind of fickle. And then also, if you go to the TikTok, there's a Discord link in there. So anybody that's got Discord, you can join the Discord server. I just added a bunch of stuff into that.
Yes.
Today there's some, NFL stuff, some betting stuff in there. I think there's fantasy football. If not, I will add that, and then they will let you know every time that we upload.
Yes,
and
and
then
actually
you'll
you
get
can.
a
I put
notification.
a chat on that as well today called Sports Memes. So if you want to share your
Okay.
funny things that you
Yeah.
find funny about sports, check that out so you can kind of give us some
course,
good content to look at.
You guys know we're all about all the sports, so anything on that, and that's kind of the same people I think that joined the Discord. So if you're looking for some fun time there and want to keep up with us, ask questions, whatever, we'll be in there. So
Without further ado, though, we're gonna get started. We're gonna start on talking about the Week 14 or are we doing 13?
well, hold on, you're off a little bit. This guy never looks at the outline.
I mean, we can look at Week 13 if we want.
It's week 15 technically.
Whatever.
But you never look at the outline. But first thing that I want to talk about is Mr. Bill Belichick
Oh yeah.
going to college football. What did you think about that?
Well, a lot of people think that he took that job in North Carolina so he could get his son a job. And, it was in the actual contract.
I've got some of the contract details I wrote down here.
There's also speculation that he might have been just trying to get his girlfriend into grad school.
That might have been too. We're not sure. If you didn't know, he's got like a 20-year-old girlfriend or 21. It's a meme at this point.
It's a little weird.
It's a lot weird. Let's be honest. But he gives up on the NFL for now. It seems he's 15 wins away from being the all-time winningest head coach in the NFL. So, he was on McAfee today. I listened to him while I was working out, and he was kind of talking about how, he's already got people. They just got like a 4-star QB. To commit to him.
I bet recruiting comes a little bit easier at North Carolina at this point.
Yeah, he said there's agents that he's had connections with in the NFL because of course he's also a great GM.
Yeah.
And they're now they're looking at it as a pro factory because they got this the greatest head coach of all time.
Yeah, and one of the best scouts of talent that we've ever seen because he's taken so many low-ranked receivers, running backs, defensive players, and gotten the best out of them.
Yeah.
So, if you can do that at the college level, you get the best out of someone, you get them an NFL deal.
Yeah. Yep. And, that there was speculation, or I heard the number 1 overall quarterback recruit for 2026 did not have UNC on his list. And now someone interviewed him and was like, now, what do you think about this with Belichick? And he's like, I'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of true. You think about it. You got Bill Belichick coaching you. You'd be
Coach
crazy
one of the best quarterbacks of all time, if not the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah. But, that part's interesting. But I want to go over this contract.
Okay.
It is 5 years for $10 million a year. So
It's an expensive head coach in the college.
that is. The first 3 years are guaranteed by Carolina.
Okay.
Year 4 and 5 are not guaranteed. Meaning after year 3, Carolina can walk away from them,
Okay.
which I find interesting on their end.
Yeah.
But then also there is this clause that if he leaves before June 1st, 2025, he will pay the full $10 million. But if he leaves after that date, his buyout for the year is $1 million. So what do you think about that? That's 2025.
Okay. Well, wow. That's coming up. That's like before the next season actually starts.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that they're just trying to like, hey, don't be leaving us for the NFL almost instantly.
Well, but after June 1st, it is $1 million. It goes from 10 to $1 million in 2025.
Okay.
So that is a very easy out for Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Yeah.
$1 million for him, I mean, whoop-de-doo.
Exactly.
So I found that very interesting that clause was in there. It makes me think, there was reports coming out that he had talked to the Jets
Yeah.
before he signed in there.
I have heard that. Yes.
Now, you know who I think should be the Jets' next head coach?
Rex Ryan.
No, Mike Vrabel. Belichick lost his fastball a little bit. Vrabel didn't lose his fastball at all. He just got into it with the GM.
Yeah.
And the GM made some bad decisions, and look at where that Tennessee team is now.
Yeah. They're not great. Not great.
So, but I mean, I wonder if this clause is for him to get out if the right NFL coaching gig opens up.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's obviously where he wants to be. And last year, it was like no one was interested in him. It was weird. I didn't
weird
understand
for him
it at all.
and Vrabel to me. It was so weird.
Yeah, we were hiring people that had never had full-time head coach jobs and sitting at two really good, competent coaches. Maybe they didn't want to pay the extra money. I don't know.
I don't know. So that's on Bill Belichick. He's at UNC. Blue blood of all blue bloods in college basketball, too. That's another thing there.
Yeah.
Don't know if that'll collide or if it'll help each other. I don't know. Interesting. But another NCAA football coach is Rich Rodriguez going back to West Virginia. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but back in 05, 06, 07, 09, until he left for Michigan, that West Virginia team was always on the verge of a national championship.
Yep.
And if they would, if they had the playoffs, they would always been in the playoffs. And I'm not talking 12-team now. They would have been in the 14 playoff every single year. So I found that very interesting that he's going back. He's going back home. He's from West Virginia. Of course, the Michigan deal was a disaster. And
Not great.
no, it didn't go great. He's got Pat McAfee giving him quite a bit of money and doing lots of recruiting for him.
Okay.
Supposedly, they are going to flip the number 3 national prospect for 2026, which is Chris Henry Jr. You know,
Is that Derrick Henry's son?
no, Chris. You forget Chris Henry.
No, I don't. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know who Chris
There
is.
you go.
Yep.
There, it took him a second. It rang a bell. But former West Virginia great, Cincinnati Bengals star, he was on West Virginia with Pac-Man Jones. Fun
Okay.
fact, Pac-Man, for all of his shortcomings, when Chris Henry passed away, Pac-Man took his son
Hey,
in.
Pac-Man still got it.
He still got it. He
He
is still
did just
fast.
on Pat McAfee's show run a 4.5.
He did. He pulled all of his muscles, but he did it.
He said he only had one.
But yeah, he took in Chris Henry's son, and the rest of his kids, and they've been living with Pac-Man and his wife. But he is the number 3 overall prospect for 2026 as a wide, not just wide receiver. He is the number 3 prospect for 2026. He is very, very good, as you can imagine. But they're talking and Pac-Man was, part of the deal with West Virginia with bringing Rich Rod back. He might be flipping.
Okay.
So
I like it. I like it.
West Virginia might be on the rise again. So
What conference are they?
they are
at?
in the Big 12.
Big 12. So hanging out with Colorado.
Yep.
Having some legendary coaches there with Dion there too.
Yeah, they do. All right, now we're going to move on. This team right here, This man was live during this game on TikTok. So
Oh my
you
gosh!
got to watch this whole game.
What a heartbreaker, man!
That was a heartbreaker. Illinois, of course, played number 1 Tennessee in Champaign on Saturday. They lost 64-62? No, 68-66.
68-66.
Yeah.
So they lost on a last-second layup by Tennessee. The story of this game was that there's so much fouling. The shooting percentages for both teams.
Neither team could shoot well.
They both shot about 30% from the field, almost exactly.
Yeah.
I actually thought that when the point guard for Tennessee, he fouled out with about 5 minutes left in the game, and at that point, I thought that this is a Illini's game to lose. But their backup point guard, Gainey, went off.
Yes, he did.
He had a great game. I think he ended up scoring 21 points, matched the top scorer for Illinois, Jakuchanis, who had 21 as well. 21 was...
He had 22.
Oh, he had 22. Okay.
That last free throw that he did to
he
tie
did.
the game.
If he would have made both of them, it still wouldn't have mattered.
It still wouldn't have mattered. It did not end up mattering. So I don't know what this stat means. I just looked it up before I was coming in here and made the outline. They held Tennessee to just 100 points per 100% possessions, their lowest mark of the season. I don't really know what that stat means.
All I know is Tennessee shot 32% from the field.
It was they didn't shoot well. Illini played good defense too. So that's what I took from it. As an Illini fan, I mean, it would have been great if they won, but I was pretty happy.
You think this is going to bump their rating up regardless?
They did not get ranked this week.
Okay.
I
did not.
I mean, you beat the number 20 team in Wisconsin. You lose to the number 1 team on a last-second buzzer beater. I mean,
and led most of that game.
Led most of that game. I can't believe they weren't ranked, but they weren't. I don't know. I don't always get it, but I'm happy with the team. I mean, this team, they came together like August. It seemed like
they had 0 returning minutes from last year, correct?
No, the Ty Rogers. Ty Rogers is the main.
Okay. Did he play last year?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he was kind of their, and he doesn't really fit as well with this team, but on the team last year, he was their do-it-all, get your rebound, hustle type player.
Okay.
He's not seeing very many minutes this year. And Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, who starts, he was on the team last year, but he didn't play a lot. But there's two people who returned last year. They got 4 freshmen that get a ton of minutes.
Yeah. Yakuchanis is...
Yeah, he's going to be a lotto pick.
More than likely, yes.
Like, I'd be very surprised at the way he plays. I mean,
the way he played in that first half on Saturday, I was starting to wonder why he was a lotto pick, and then the second half he showed me why.
Yep, he did. Will Riley didn't do anything, and he's supposed to be a lottery pick as well. He's had up and down games. It's a little.
Will Riley hit 2 big threes at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah.
We started out the first half. The first half of the line, I actually went 1 from 12 from 3.
And that's bad.
They made their first one and then missed the next 12.
The Illini, I think, they shoot the most threes in NCAA
almost
basketball.
35 a game.
Yeah, they live and die by it, and they weren't making them, and it was not good. But I think this year, they have a real shot at winning the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Big Ten's down a little bit. And Purdue, they lost Edey, and I think it's wide open. I think that's the Illini's to get. I think they're a team that can beat anybody at any time.
Yeah.
They have as much talent as anybody in the nation.
They can also lose to about anybody,
They can lose to anybody.
Because they dropped from the Northwestern last week as well.
Yes.
So.
But, like I said earlier, I think like Will Riley committed in like August. Like this team is young. They just come together. And you've seen it with that last that turnover at the end of the game that ended up costing them the game. They were just kind of a little casual on it, and that's just not being experienced like Tennessee is.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the year they're going to get there, and I'm excited for this team. I really am.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do come March, come February, Big Ten time, and I think it's going to be interesting.
The team's exciting to watch. I enjoyed doing the live stream during the game. Learned a lot about the team. I hadn't gotten the chance to watch much of them this year.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we're about out of time. We're going to go break.
Yep.
And we're going to come back and we're going to bring you back some football.
That's right.
All right, we are back.
Welcome back.
We just got done talking about a little bit of college football, college basketball, but now we're going to move up to the big boys. We're going to go and we're going to talk some NFL and do our Week 15 recap. There's still a couple games that haven't been played yet. They'll be played tonight.
The Monday night ones. I'm thinking of it. There's only one of them that really matters for the playoff picture. And there's one team pretty well in it, the other two aren't, and then the Falcons are, fighting for their lives, but they don't have much of a chance.
Yeah, they're definitely not too exciting games.
No, not
We're
at
looking
all.
at one playoff team already in, and
Yeah.
then one other team that may make the playoffs, but not super likely, and
No.
then two teams that are pretty much out of it.
Yeah, one team's looking at maybe the number one pick.
Yeah.
But we'll start off with Thursday night football.
Kind of a stinker.
That was a snooze fest. That's what
I don't think
wrote
there
here.
was an offensive or defensive touchdown scored the entire time.
Bunch of field goals. It was sloppy in San Fran. Rainy.
We had a Cooper Cup milk carton out.
Yeah,
I don't
Cooper
believe he
Kupp
got a
didn't
catch.
get anything. That's crazy. Puka got everything. Puka went for 7 for 97. So he was. Stafford only threw for 160.
Was it Devondre Campbell that dressed but refused to play?
Yes.
I saw in the post-game interview that
Kittle
Kittle
went
was
off.
very upset.
Yeah. So Dre Greenlaw comes back finally after tearing his Achilles in the Super Bowl. And then they immediately start him. Campbell was upset about it, but I mean, to me, he just ruined his NFL career.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anybody signing.
He chose
after
to
that.
dress and then
Chose not to go in the
refused to
game.
play.
Yeah.
And then with that, they actually had a linebacker or two hurt during that game. They needed him. He refused to go in.
Yeah. I mean, it's Dre. You knew what it was. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Dre Greenlaw. He is a stud. I still say if he doesn't get hurt in the Super Bowl, Chiefs don't win it.
Right.
That man was playing as a man possessed. I've never seen anybody look like that. He was crazy.
And Devondre, that's the thing. At a linebacker position, you're going to get
Yeah.
snaps. Like,
Yeah, it just made no sense, but some people choose to ruin their careers.
I guess so. Anyway, Rams won 12-6.
Yeah, it was it was on the ground. Kyron Williams 29 carries for 108 yards.
Yep. He had to work for him.
Stafford only threw for 160, and 97 of them was to Puka.
Yep.
There was pretty well nothing from the Niners. Next game, talk about. I just went on ESPN and looked at the scores and the box score, and it was when whatever ranking that order that they had it in. So the next one that they had was Chiefs 21, Browns 7. Jameis.
Yeah, he did. He forgot which team to throw the ball to.
Yep.
He did not throw any pick sixes.
The Lord delivered him from pick sixes, but not picks.
Yeah. He actually got benched late in the game. DTR,
DTR
played most of the
came in.
fourth quarter. So
But the real thing is, how many ankle injuries can Patrick Mahomes have?
yeah.
Man has the loosest ankles on earth.
Well, no, because they put in the guy that actually managed to roll both of them at the same time.
I had in here Carson Two Sprains Wentz is probably going to be playing for them until the playoffs because
They have no reason to bring.
they have no
Mahomes.
reason to bring Mahomes.
I think at this
in.
point they're what 12-1, 13-1.
Yeah, they're 13-1. Even if they lose 2 games, they still probably are going to get.
They're going to win their division regardless.
Yeah, no, they're playing for home field, but they got 2 games up on the Bills. The Bills did beat them, but all they have to do is win 1 game and they get home field for sure.
Yep.
So there's no reason for Patrick to play.
I think they still got to play the Raiders again too.
Oh gosh.
So I mean,
So
Wentz can win that game.
They're gonna win. They won't cover, but they'll win.
They did cover this week.
They did cover this week mainly because Jameis was doing Jameis things.
Yeah, he was pretty bad.
He was bad.
Who you got next up on your
Next
list?
game, I got Cincy 37, Titans 27. Burrow and Chase did their thing. That's what they do. And the other Chase did his thing on the ground too.
Unfortunately, the defense kind of did their thing too,
Yeah.
also giving him 27 points.
But they covered.
They did cover. The defense actually had one touchdown. Should have had 2. We had a fumble out of the back
We
of the
did
end
have
zone.
a fumble out of the back of the end zone. It was like on back-to-back plays basically too.
Yeah.
Will Levis did Will Levis things. Mason
Man.
Rudolph came in. I don't know if we'll ever see Will Meme Levis playing quarterback again.
Dude, I believe that he is. I want to check to see if he scored more touchdowns for the other team this year or not. It's got to be close.
It's got to be close. I looked up on NFL.com the playoff picture. It gives the Bengals a 6% chance to make the playoffs.
It's not over.
It's not
So
over.
you're saying there's a
There's a
chance.
chance. It's very slight, but
They've got
to
to win out, and I'm not sure if that defense is good enough to do that.
It'd be fun to see the offense in there.
I believe they still do have to play the Steelers again.
They do. They can beat them. They definitely
can beat the Steelers.
They can beat anybody.
Yeah.
but that defense is terrible. Gosh, that defense is so bad. Like, I don't think we could say how bad they are. They got to be like the worst of all time.
It's real bad. Like, you have 27 points.
We did get a Sam Hubbard touchdown. That was cool.
Yes. We had 2 fat guy touchdowns during that one.
We did. What was the other
Defensive
one?
touchdown.
Yeah. Who was that? What game?
I'm not sure. Big guy.
Okay.
Big, large American.
All right. Next game I got is the Commanders 20, Saints 19. Washington squeaked out the win here. They got an 82% chance to make the playoffs, but they are definitely slipping.
Yeah. I mean,
we were over here. He was live during this on TikTok, and me and him were hoping for the Saints backdoor cover, and they did.
We almost got
a Saints win, but we did get the Saints backdoor cover. We were a 2-point conversion away
from the Commanders dropping that game.
And I mean,
Jaden Daniels once again did not look very impressive. He's really taken a step back.
He went 25 for 31 for 226 and 2 tutties and 11 carries for 66 yards. So he was really pretty good.
I mean,
Brian Robinson Jr. wasn't great.
Okay.
Scary Terry was pretty good. I think he had.
I know he had at least 1 touchdown. A ridiculous one.
I think he had 117 yards.
Yep.
But I mean, that Saints team has nothing. Kamara caught a touchdown from a wide receiver.
Ridiculous.
And then he got hurt, I think.
Yeah. I believe that they kind of had a split quarterback by committee going on.
They had Hayner in at first, and then Rattler was in. I think he kind of finished the game.
And then Cooper, or whatever his name was, the wide receiver, threw
Cedric something. Cedric. I don't remember his last name.
I thought it was Cedric Cooper, but it could be wrong.
It could be. I know Cedric is his first name.
Okay. Anyway, wide receiver threw a touchdown.
Yes.
Kamara caught it. It was
one-handed. It was amazing. But yeah, the Commanders hold on. They're looking like a playoff team, but if they don't get it together, they're going to be a first-round
They're probably in and bounced. They probably get bounced out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're a higher tier playoff team. About any other playoff team that you see, you don't see the Commanders beating them.
Yeah, I mean, any of the teams in the NFC North that are going to make the playoffs,
I believe that any of those 3 NFC North teams would beat them, yes.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them that are going to have to play that first weekend.
Yep.
So, all right, next game I got is Ravens 35, Giants 14. Ravens covered the 16-point spread, guys.
Yeah, and really wasn't that close most of the time.
Lamar did Lamar things, threw for 5 touchdowns. He's just.
Is there any way that we can give him and Josh Allen both MVP?
Yeah, they both deserve it. Lamar deserves it more than he did last year.
Yeah,
he's way better this year. But we'll get to that last guy. I got him on that's the last game we'll talk about. But he is special. Derrick Henry only carried 14 times. Yeah. They didn't need him.
Exactly.
It was at that point. I'm surprised.
I believe Rashad Bateman had 2 touchdowns.
Yes, he did. Mark Andrews became the all-time leader in touchdowns for the Ravens in this game. He passed Jamal Lewis for number 1.
I'll be darned.
I just happened to be watching that because it was like Lamar could pass somebody for something if he ran it, or Derrick Henry or something, and then it was all red zone. And then he's like, oh, and it's Mark Andrews, and he's now the best. Has the most touchdowns in Ravens history. So.
Well, did Derrick Henry get in the end zone this week?
No. He barely touched the ball.
I believe that's the first time all year that he hasn't made it in the end zone.
I wasn't paying enough attention, and they didn't show it much on red zone. So I bet he had most of his carries within like the first quarter, and then they're just like, just sit. We need you for the playoffs. We're good.
Yeah, take a break, dog.
Take a break.
Justice Hill had a pretty decent game. Anyway.
I mean, they didn't need him. I mean, the Giants had 3 quarterbacks playing.
Yeah.
That one, they all switched. They don't know what's going on. They're going to draft Shedeur or Cam Ward.
Yeah.
And one of those 2. And the Raiders will draft the other one.
Yep, more than likely.
So, next game, another stink bowl, but actually was somewhat entertaining.
It actually wasn't that stinky, 32-25. And I believe we were getting close to needing overtime. Rodgers with a 2-minute drill at the end of the game came back and won.
Jets 32, Jags 25. He did not mention the teams, but
yeah, I was getting there. I said Rodgers.
Yeah, Rodgers. I have on this. Just let Rodgers talk. I did. I was going to say.
Well, you didn't though. You stopped me.
Well, you didn't say the teams, okay?
No, I mean, Rodgers looked good for the most part. I don't think he threw an interception this week.
I just put on here BTJ and Devontae owners had fun for their
Oh yeah,
fantasy
Devontae
playoffs.
Adams had 198 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I've never
Absolutely
seen
ridiculous.
somebody as wide open on that one, and it wasn't a touchdown. He didn't make it.
It
but
was
he
just a slant that
it was
they
a
had
slant.
no.
Nobody was there.
There was no safety net.
There was nobody within 20 yards of him.
Yeah, he caught it on about the 20, and then he just waltzed into
Yeah.
the end zone. There was no one near him.
He had 2 touchdowns.
Yes, he had
Okay,
198
yeah.
and 2 touchdowns.
And then BTJ had like 110 and 2 touchdowns
Yep.
too. So, like I said, if you was counting on those guys for fantasy, good on you. You got some good games from them. If you happen to have them both, which is definitely possible.
Did our Oracle have a playoff game in either league this week? Or is he on the
No,
bye?
he was on the bye in the BBB. I was on the bye. You didn't make it. Woody smoked Moses, and then I don't know who was playing.
Anyway, that's not
Adam and
super.
Caleb was playing. I don't know who was winning on it. It's going down to the wire. Adam's got 117. Caleb's projected to have 125 for tonight. Woody had an all-time week. He
Nice.
had 147 points.
Heck yeah.
Another stink bowl we'll go to is Cowboys 30, Panthers 14. Panthers look like they're going to play good, and then they didn't.
Yeah,
Young didn't play that terrible. I know he had a fumble, which he made Micah miss, which was awesome, and then he didn't quite get his feet set again and
Yeah.
fell and fumbled.
I mean, the Cowboys defense looked good.
They
and
did, finally, but way
Cooper
too
Rush,
little too late.
I mean, he was okay. I think he actually left the game early, didn't he?
I don't know. I wasn't paying enough attention to this game.
Brandon Aubrey attempted a 70-yarder.
He did attempt a 70-yarder. It was funny. You were on there with Owen, his son, and he's like, what was going on there? That wasn't even close. I'm like, I was a 70-yarder. That's why.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the Cowboys just being like, you want to try it? Go for it.
you want to give it a go?
He clearly was just focused on trying to get everything he could, and it drawled and wasn't even close. And then we had a 30-yard return, but then he went out of bounds.
Yeah. We had a Jalen Coker, his first game back from
Yes.
injury, came out, had an 82-yard touchdown.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, if you're going to take a positive from the Panthers, is Jalen Coker looks pretty good for you.
He does. So, all right, we've got through a decent amount of the games here. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We forgot something in the first segment that we wanted to talk about
First
with
two
some more. We were talking college football. We forgot about the Heisman was announced, and Travis Hunter won it.
Travis Hunter won. Deservedly so, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ashton Janty just happened to have a
Ridiculous
season, the same season that he is playing against an absolute unicorn.
Yes.
So,
I will say Travis Hunter did not deserve the Blitnikoff award for best wide receiver.
yeah, I agree with
He
that.
didn't deserve that one, but as overall, for what he's done this year, he does deserve the Heisman. I mean, I get what everyone's saying. For the
Snaps
most
isn't
part.
a stat.
Snaps isn't a stat, but it kind of is at one point in time. And you also can't necessarily have stats for being a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
PFF does some grades, but they more do it on NFL, and who even knows, how great those are. Everyone uses them like they're the best thing ever, but it's a little bit of a judgment call.
Yeah, so the Heisman ceremony was Saturday night, and it was actually narrowed down to 4 people. It was Cam Ward, the quarterback with Miami, and he had a great season. Honestly, he's probably the most polished NFL-ready quarterback that's in that draft.
He's either going to be first or second quarterback to go. Him or Shedeur Sanders will be.
I think it's going to be Cam, but I would not be shocked by being Shedeur.
I think Shedeur is a fine NFL prospect too.
Yeah. Yeah,
he is,
I do too.
especially compared to the other quarterbacks that could be in this draft.
I think that Cam, in my opinion, is going to be a little bit more coachable, I guess.
I think he's got more upside.
Yeah, I would say that as well. And I just think that maybe he's a little bit more coachable because Sheddeur's only had his dad coaching him for a long time and may not handle the orders as well.
That's true, but then there's also he's a pro Hall of Fame son, and they know what it takes to be good for the NFL.
That's fair.
Too,
That's
at the
fair.
same time. So that's two sides to the coin.
And then next we had
Dylan
Gabriel, the quarterback
who
for
is
Oregon.
not my favorite quarterback at all.
He was there out of I guess what do you call it? Just
Best team
by
in the
default.
country.
He was there by default because he was the best quarterback on the best team.
Yeah.
Undefeated season, or no, they lost one, didn't
No,
they?
they're undefeated.
They're undefeated. Yeah, undefeated season. Wasn't that great. He's a check down merchant. He doesn't really ever throw more than 20 yards downfield.
He's on Oregon, and they're track stars.
Yep. He just gets the ball out, much like what Bo Nix did, but Bo Nix translated quite a bit.
Yes.
So,
Bo Nix started forever, and we'll get to that game
Yes.
in a little bit. But then, yeah, it was
and then next it was the two actual candidates.
Yeah, it was a 2-horse race. Those other guys were just there because they have to have 4.
Ashton Gianti over there in Boise State, having perhaps, well, it's yet to be seen because he's still got the playoff games. He could actually pass Barry Sanders for having the best running back season in college of all time.
Yeah.
I think that he's got to get about 350 yards
Yep.
to pass all that. So I don't know if he'll get that in one game, but if he gets 2 games in the playoffs, he's a favorite to get that.
If he gets 2 games, he'll get it.
Yeah.
That remains to be seen. Boise State, they played Oregon tough, so we'll see. And yeah, Travis Hunter, he had over 1,000 yards. He was an absolute stud.
He's a
And
top
then
5 corner
he's
prospect.
Top 5 corner prospect, and I think if he only did corner, he'd be a complete shutdown guy.
I think
his instincts from being a wide receiver are special.
Yeah.
And the thing with corners, you see so many drops, but if that guy has a hand on the ball, he ain't dropping
probably catching it. Yeah.
it. So
A guy that you can compare him to, in my opinion, is the way that he plays corner is actually Ahmad Sauce Gardner. They both just were not targeted much in college.
Yeah.
Sauce actually throughout his entire college career never gave up a
he
touchdown.
never gave up a touchdown
because no one threw the ball at him.
It like I said, you can't count those stats. Like Revis Island, you can just kind of count the stats of a wide receiver going against him if he only covers him too.
Yeah.
But it's just hard. But we just know shutdown corner. That's what he is. You can see it.
Yes, it's quite evident.
So, but yeah, we just wanted to mention that. We realized during the break we forgot it. So, back to NFL. Let's go Colts Broncos. Colts 13, Broncos 31. Colts were looking absolutely great, and then JT dropped the ball.
Well, he didn't drop the ball. He
did. He dropped
it intentional though.
Yes, he dropped the ball at the 1, fumbled it through the end zone, took 7 points off the board for the Colts, and then it all just unraveled.
Yeah, actually, they had every opportunity to win this game. The Bo Nix threw 3 interceptions in the first half.
He did not look good at all.
In the second half, he looked a lot better. He actually threw for 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, ended up getting 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. Kind of saved face a little bit, but, ended up winning the game 31-13, I think.
31-13. There was a stat that Pat McAfee was talking about that game where Bo Nix has like 68 from college and 13 NFL games, and then Anthony Richardson has 13 NFL games, 13 college games that he started.
Okay.
So it's like Bo Nix is a rookie, but
well, he started in Auburn.
He started in a SEC. Then he went to Oregon, and he's been playing high quality college football for a long time.
This is a guy that it was at Auburn with. No, he was at Oregon with Justin Herbert.
No, he was after.
I thought they were on the same team together.
No, they weren't. He was at Auburn at that time.
Okay.
I looked it up because you thought that one time, and I had looked it up. I'm like, I don't think that's right.
Okay. Well, either way, he's the same age as Justin Herbert.
Yes, he's the same age as Herbert, and he started as a freshman at Auburn, and then was there for like 2 years, and then transferred and was like 3 years at Oregon, and he's got a lot of experience, especially compared to Anthony Richardson. So Colts fans, he's looked pretty good since the benching. I don't know what they got to do to get it together though. They
kind of took a step back from this week in comparison to how he's looked after the benching, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he started off good, though. The whole team took a step back.
Yeah.
Like, he looked good at the beginning. And then they just, like I said, everything unraveled for them.
Yeah.
It seemed. But, Broncos solidified their playoff spot, basically, with this game. They're 91% chance. Colts have a 10% chance to make it. And it's just... Indy's got
Isn't that crazy that the Colts have a better chance of making the playoffs than the Bengals?
Yeah, it is. Which team I'd take in a matchup? I'm taking the Bengals.
I'll take the Bengals offense against just about anyone.
I'll take the Bengals offense against anybody, for sure.
Except for maybe the Bills.
I don't know. That'd be a fun game. Next one we'll talk about, Texans 20, Dolphins 12. Texans, they end up clinching their division. This was a 12 o'clock game, but with the Colts loss, they clinched the division. They're in the playoffs.
The Texans have done a really good job this year of looking impressively unimpressive.
Them and the Chiefs are very similar.
Yeah. It's like they're just lollygagging. Like, this is the easiest division of all time. Don't really care. We're gonna make the playoffs.
The Chiefs were able to, still win despite losing Rashid Rice. Nico Collins, on the other hand, when the Texans lost him, they looked awful.
They did. Nico Collins caught a touchdown this week.
He did. He's back. He's looking better. But Miami, they were still in a pretty good playoff spot, and now they just laid an egg. Two through three interceptions. I think 2 to Derek Stingley Jr.
Yep.
And now they just got a 6% chance to make the playoffs.
Jalen Waddle looks lost on the field, and Tyreek had a better second half.
Yeah, but he's not been good at all, even with Tua coming back.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Tyreek is notorious. He starts off amazing, and then as the year goes on, he slows down a little bit.
Yep.
And he didn't have Tua all that long at the beginning of the year, so it's whatever. And then let's move on. We'll get one last game, and we'll save 4 for the last segment. Cardinals 30, Pats 17. Cardinals had to have a win. They keep their playoff chances alive. They got a 14% chance to make the playoffs.
That is Kyler Murray's first win since Warzone, and
it is his first win.
Also, you for the first time in forever didn't bet on the Cardinals.
I know, and it backfired.
You didn't take them in the pick'em.
I've always took them in the pick'em, and this time I said nope, and
changed my mind, and they cover.
They cover. James Conner was the story of this game, and Trey McBride. He had 97 yards, I think. But Conner had 110 yards for them, 2 touchdowns. On the other side, the Pats. I mean, all you can say is Drake May looks like a future star quarterback. He looks
honestly. That's all the Pats got going for them right now, and their defense, who's been pretty good
decent.
most of the season. But yeah, Drake May looks like the real deal.
Yeah, and you guys, this was before I was on with you guys, but I had the same sentiment that out of all the quarterbacks taken this last year, I think he could be the best.
Yes, I thought that he had the highest upside. I actually thought out of the draft that Bo Nix would actually be the most polished because of how many games he did.
Started. Penix, if he would be playing, I think could as far as experience, I think he's right. He is right there with Nix.
Yeah. And it's kind of banged out that way. I think that
Drake May compares to Josh Allen. I think.
Okay. He's not near as big.
He's pretty dang big though.
He's tall, but he's not thick.
Yeah, but he can get thicker. I think he might be the smallest out of his family.
Okay.
Luke May, I think, was like 6'7".
Oh wow.
Well, he's a basketball star and won Player of the Year, and won national championship with North Carolina.
Yeah, I do remember that name now. Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean they got to get a team around him, big time, because they got a future star there.
They do. Think. He's definitely looked really talented. Actually, he came from a pretty small school, didn't he?
He came from UNC.
Okay, I thought so.
He went to
a small football school, I should say.
Yes, yeah. It's kind of weird now that Belichick's there and May's the quarterback of the Patriots.
That is strange.
But the May name in Carolina is huge. That is a big name even before Drake got there because of his brother. I think both his brothers played on the basketball team, but the one was like Player of the Year, or at least most outstanding in the tournament when they won.
Mm-hmm.
And he may have been a walk-on even too at Carolina, which is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Usually walk-ons are you get to hold the water jug,
especially at a blue blood.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
One
UNC.
of the big blue bloods, But yeah, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll finish up with the last 4 games.
All right, we're
Welcome
back for our final segment. We've got 4 more games to cover here, I believe.
4 more to cover.
And let's jump right into it.
We're starting off with kind of the biggest surprise, I think, of the weekend was Bucks 40, Chargers 17. Dude, the Chargers defense got mopped.
I think that I've said in our pick'em that, hey, if there's any quarterback that can take out this Chargers defense, it's gonna be Baker Mayfield, the Bake Show, because he just slings it and he's got weapons. That being said, that Chargers defense is the best in the NFL, probably.
Yeah,
I would say that is the
yeah.
best defense in the NFL.
I agree.
And this is a lapse for them.
Yeah, and they got destroyed. Baker had a big game. Bucky Irving continues to have big games.
Yep.
That's a heck of a draft.
You
pick
score
that
40
they made.
points, most of your offense is going to have a big
And
game.
Mike Evans did Mike Evans things. I think he had like one. I didn't put his stats, but they're trying to get him 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I thought that was probably going to happen. With him missing, I think he missed 5 games.
But they're first in their division. I think. No, they got an 88% chance of making the playoffs, along with the Chargers. Also,
It's
88%.
crazy because I feel like it was this last year as well. But that Buccaneers team can hang with anyone. They can upset anyone.
They have a better defense than the Bengals and about the same offense.
Agreed. Not as good of a quarterback. No knock on Baker Mayfield. He is very good, but he's not Joe Burrow.
No, Burrow. If that team was good, Burrow runs away with MVP.
Yeah, agreed.
Like he has been the best quarterback in the league.
And Baker Mayfield,
but Baker is top 10.
He's making the Browns look even dumber than they possibly ever could have looked.
Dude, I love that so much. And I'll see my friends, the Browns fans, here in just a couple weeks.
Man.
So if you guys are watching, once again, sorry, don't hit me whenever I get down to Mississippi.
Man,
but,
you guys had a franchise.
You guys
quarterback
had a franchise quarterback, kicked him to the curb, and then
for what you thought was a franchise quarterback, but
and
it was
now you're
really
stuck with
just
the worst contract in all of sports, and then also. The Panthers,
not all of sports, all of sports history.
All of sports history. And then also the Panthers, like, what are you doing? Now Baker and Sam Darnold are going off.
I don't understand the Sam Darnold thing still. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I'm going to stop trying, but
hey, let's go Baker. We love Baker, and let's get Mike Evans 1,000 yards. Also,
yes, that would be 11 straight seasons.
I need him for my fantasy team.
Yes.
Especially now with Monty going down. But
other than this, I mean, just a complete epic show of offense by the Bucks. I don't expect this to be what the Chargers look like going forward. That is going to be a tough team to face in the playoffs because defense wins championships.
Yep, I agree. All right, next game, we got the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Hey, they didn't get away with it this week.
They did not get away with it. And the Eagles 27, Steelers 13, and what I wrote here is, I think you'll agree, basically what we thought would happen to the Steelers when they face a complete team. And this Eagles team, I think now might be the favorite in the NFC.
Here's my take on it is that George Pickens had Quinyon Mitchell on him.
No, he didn't play.
Oh, Quinyon Mitchell didn't even play?
No, Pickens didn't play.
Well, heck. Great corners against a no
there.
receiver.
So that is a little bit of an asterisk there because the Steelers have nobody. Like, your next option is Freiermuth.
Yeah.
He's a good tight end.
Yes, but he's not a good receiver.
But he's not that great.
He's not going to get you 150 yards or anything. He's a great red zone threat.
He's a great red zone threat.
But he's not a move the sticks guy.
He's a serviceable tight end who, once you don't have the great tight ends in fantasy, you're going to start him and throw him out there and hope he scores a touchdown.
Yeah. I didn't realize that they didn't have Pickens. I'm surprised that game was even close as it was.
But they're even if he's there, I still don't know if that offense could have hanged. I don't know if it changes much.
Najee Harris was a ghost. I think he had like 30 yards at most.
Yep.
I think he also had a fumble.
Eagles defense is very good. They got the two giant Georgia guys in the middle. Jalen Carter is an absolute menace and a stud.
Other than Saquon Barkley, I don't think there's anything explosive about that Eagles offense, but they're efficient.
They have A.J. Brown, though.
Yeah, but he's not been explosive. He's had games. He's not been crazy. There's nothing explosive. They're efficient.
I will say this, but I will also you're just talking explosive. I mean, as a person, A.J. Brown is the hardest wide receiver to tackle in football.
Absolutely. But just said there's nothing explosive outside of Saquon Barkley.
They do a very good job of complementing each other, is what they do.
Yes, that is a very well-oiled machine on the offensive side.
Yes, because it's going to be Saquon, and then it's like, oh, we're going to play action, and then we got Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown. Have fun.
We can chink and chuck drives down your throat. We can Saquon down your throat.
And
there's so many different ways that offense can beat you.
If they can get to 1 yard line, it's guaranteed still.
Saquon has been tackled a league-leading 11 times on the 1 yard line.
I still drafted Jalen Hurts as my quarterback.
10 of those 11
I've got 10 touchdowns because of it.
have ended in Jalen Hurts touchdowns.
I was like, I'm still gonna try it.
But the thing is, if the tush push didn't exist, how many touchdowns would Saquon Barkley have?
Oh,
this
he'd
year?
have a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, it'd be rivaling the LT season.
It would. Yeah.
Because I think he's got about 15 anyhow.
Yeah, it would. But yeah, I mean, still, I think now the Eagles are probably the best team or favorite team in the NFC. They're just very complete.
Yes, I would agree with that. Speaking of which, like that
Now we're gonna
same
move
time,
on.
3:00. We're gonna go to the Packers here first.
Yes.
But the other team that I think may be the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, we'll
It's coming up.
yes. But now we need to move to your team, the Packers 30, Seahawks 13, and that first half, Josh Jacobs was insane.
The first drive, they had 9 offensive plays.
He touched the ball every time, right?
8 times.
8 times.
The other time, he was off the field getting a breather, and they ran with Jordan Love.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and then he came in the next play, scored a touchdown.
LaFleur's just like, have fun.
after that first drive, after the first 7 plays where Josh Jacobs got 7 touches in a row,
And he was like 10 yards a carry.
Josh Jacobs walked off to the side of the sideline. The Seahawks fans cheered.
Yes, they did.
when he went to the sideline.
Yes. No, that was on the one where they took him out and had Love run. They cheered. Yeah.
Exactly. They cheered, and then the next play,
came
LaFleur's
in
like,
and
you know what? Actually, just go.
And score a touchdown. But yeah, he was insane in the first half. Second half, they didn't really need him.
He fumbled actually in the second half as well too.
Okay. I turned off the game in the second half. Not gonna lie,
It was over.
It was over. I was
Christian
like,
Watson had his one miracle catch a week. He actually, out of his last 10 receptions, has over 350 yards. He averages 35 yards a reception.
That's what he is. That is what he is. He is a freak athlete who's very fast and very tall. And
Has pretty good hands too, but he's not a great route runner.
No, he's not. And then the other thing is Jordan Love and Toyotathon. Since week 10, I think, of last year, which is when Toyotathon starts, I don't think in regular season he's lost, and I don't know if he's...
Well, he lost to the Lions last week.
Okay, well, that's the Lions.
He
Minus
put up
the
a heck
Lions,
of a game
but he had a
against
heck
them.
of a game, and apparently Jordan Love loves Toyotas. That's I said it last week. I'm gonna say it again.
Well,
He
when that
loves
game was
Toyotas.
playing last night, I made a joke as the Legion of Boom was raising the flag before the game and right in front of a big Toyota symbol.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who's getting more riled up.
Yeah, you messaged me. You're like, look, I missed it. I actually was like brushing my teeth or something, and you're like, they showed him raising the flag, and then they showed the Toyota side, and like, I don't know who's more excited, them or Jordan Love, because he loves Toyotas.
But going on to that was a great Sunday night game. Packers led from the very beginning.
Packers, I think, are a dark horse Super Bowl team. I don't even know if they're that much of a dark horse. Maybe it's because of their division.
They're not the best in they're third in their division.
They're third in their division. I like them a little more than the Vikings. We both have talked about this.
The NFC's really stacked.
Love was hurt, and then they lost some games there. But since he's come back and these Toyota-thons happened, he's been amazing.
The offense is great. The defense is very opportunistic.
Yes. Yeah.
We get a lot of turnovers.
Yes,
So,
we do.
I think that's a team that can beat anyone.
Yes,
And,
I agree 100%. They could be anybody in the league at any time, and it would not surprise me if they make it to the Super Bowl, and they could definitely win it. That's how I feel.
Heartbreaker last Thursday night against the Lions. I thought they
Yes.
were going to take that dub.
Oh, I forgot to say on the Chargers part, I was going to mention this. I had it in my outline. Next year, Chargers are going to sign T. Higgins to an absolute bag.
Yeah, probably.
Watch out. Is
Yeah.
all I can say. Watch out if
You
that
see how well
happens.
T. Higgins is playing when he's pissed off that he's not getting paid.
Yes.
So just like wait until he's actually happy to be on a
And
team.
he's a number one, and we've all thought he could be a number one. So,
Should be a
anyways.
Packer. But anyway,
Well, that too.
moving on.
Game of the week, Bills.
An absolute score fest.
48, Lions 42. What a game. Offensive showdown. The Bills have scored 42 and 48 points in the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Josh Allen is ridiculous.
He's Himothy.
He is the definition of Himothy. He's wrapped up MVP at this point. I don't know what he
Lamar
can,
Jackson would have to be absolutely outstanding the next 2 weeks, and
Josh would
Allen
have
do
to
nothing.
throw 4 interceptions in both games. And
Yeah.
he's not done that much.
He's
this
head
year.
and shoulders above everyone in the MVP race. The only person that really even has a remote chance of taking it is Lamar.
Yeah.
And it's a shame for Lamar because he could be easily most years winning his third MVP right now.
Ravens defense kind of let them down. They're not as good as the Bills.
The Ravens, they had a disappointing start to the season.
Yes, they did.
And
They
I
did.
think that has a lot to do with why he's not a little bit higher up in that race, but also just Josh Allen is ridiculous.
Yes, he is. James Cook was really good in this game, too. He had over 100 yards, couple tutties. Detroit's defense, I mean, they're hurt. They get hurt again. They lost like 3 people, I think, in this game.
This defense getting hurt finally caught up to him against the best offense in football.
Yeah. A little worried about the Bills' defense, but then again, they've played the Rams and then Detroit back-to-back weeks. So
yeah, and the Rams are a sneaky good offense.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't show it against the 49ers this past week, but,
No,
they are a
didn't
sneaky
have
good
to.
offense.
But this was a possible Super Bowl preview for sure.
The game was as advertised.
Yes, both teams had over 500 yards. Goff almost threw for 500.
Yeah.
He had like 5 touchdowns.
Insane.
Yeah, he was insane. He's been very, very good minus 1 game. 1 game honestly cost him a little bit of the MVP.
I've said it a couple times now. I'll say it again. Jared Goff is undefeated where he's thrown 4 or more interceptions.
Yeah, and then he lost this game and he threw 5 touchdowns. But this is going to be the MO of these teams in the playoffs. So they're going to have to outscore people, I think. But I think
They're pretty good at doing that.
Both those offenses can.
Yeah.
The one thing for Detroit that sucks is and I texted you this, they lose Monty now. He is gone, probably for the rest of the year.
Yep.
I don't think
They
he's gonna
may
play
get him
it.
back for the playoffs, especially if they get that bye week in there, because they likely will.
Yeah. They just got to win 1 more game for that, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So you may get him back for the playoffs for that, but you won't see him the rest of the regular season, and I don't think you would have seen him during a wild card week either.
Now, the
You're
only
lucky to
thing
see him in the
is-
playoffs.
It is still Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, you're not upset with that. Really, if you can find someone that can take 10 carries off of Jameer's hands during the game, you're not going to replace David Montgomery, but you can get someone that's going to take some load off of
if you're getting Jahmyr Gibbs more carries, it's not going to hurt you at all.
No, but I'm worried about him getting winded. Because
yes.
He's a very electric runner.
Oh, he is so fast.
That's why you have a David Montgomery.
Yes,
Because you
yeah.
can't give Jahmyr Gibbs 25 carries a game.
They've shown that they know what they're doing with those 2 guys.
Yes.
I mean, what else can we say for this game, though? I mean, it was amazing.
One of the best offensive showdowns I've ever seen,
Yeah.
except for maybe anytime the Bengals and the Ravens play this year.
Yes. Now, you were going to say, what team do you think is your Super Bowl favorite now?
My Super Bowl favorite right now is probably the Bills.
That's kind of where I'm at, too. They've got everything. Defenses, they've not played well the last 2 weeks, but they've come up against juggernaut offenses. That offense can keep up with anybody.
Let's just hope he doesn't run into a coin toss in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Too soon?
that's been fixed, thankfully. But, when they traded for Amari, that really opened up the rest of the team. Shakir's been good. Coleman was back. I think he was pretty good this last week, too. They got everything they need to win.
Yeah, I agree.
And they beat the Chiefs in the regular season.
They
Obviously,
did.
they've done
Got
that a few
over that
times.
hump finally, Josh.
But yeah, that's kind of. I think that could be a Super Bowl preview with a few other teams on the NFC that's loaded. So
I think that pretty much wraps
that
up
wraps
all of
it
our
up.
games.
Follow all the socials: Facebook, X, sub to the YouTube, join the Discord server, join TikTok, follow our streams, and we're Benchwarmers Basement Banter. And we'll see you
Everyone,
next
thanks
week.
for watching. We'll see you next week.